Okay, I'm back. So anyway, it's good to be back. I think it's been, what, a couple weeks now? And so, sorry about that, but you guys know how it is, right? Anyway, I just wanted to, I actually thought I would entitle this one Full Disclosure, because somebody that I've come to know a little bit on Twitter, who's also suffering terribly, had made a comment about somebody else's tweet who also is suffering horrifically, and about how they didn't ever get full disclosure on this medication, and which is totally understandable. That somebody, that we're all lashing out that way, and why weren't we told, this? And certainly, even if anybody who's been on it over the last few years, it was more common back when I was put on it, 18 years ago, whatever. The doctors didn't know much, but there's really no excuse anymore. So, but I thought that his reply to that was very important, because he made a really good point. There's no way they could possibly disclose what this medication is capable of doing and what it is doing. And I seem to be able to, when I'm having a really rough time, be able to calm down a little bit more when I start talking to you guys, which is even more so why it's frustrating when you can't get through to family and friends, how like somebody being in the same room with you, just sitting talking with you or watching TV with you, how much that can help with this whole feeling of such terror and panic that stays with you. But because it's been I made it out, and I made a brief video for the Benzo Information Coalition, that for something that they're doing for World Benzodiazepine Awareness Day on July 11th. I believe I didn't get the video in time. I think they're going to be able to use it, but I think it's uploaded here. But so that's why I tried to make myself a little bit presentable, and hadn't been able to get out in a few days, so desperately needed to get out and go to the store, which was quite a harrowing experience. And and it's so frustrating, because it's like my life seems to be where if I leave, about all I can do is go to a grocery store, go to Walmart, and realize I have to come back. I have to come right back. I'm still trying to get in some walking, but it hasn't been as frequent. And that goes back to this whole thing about full disclosure. The magnitude of this, the list of this, of the side effects, and what this drug does to our GABA receptors of our brain. Even if they were to put stricter labels, somebody said on Twitter that her Klonopin finally had the black label sticker. I'm not even quite sure what that is, because I know my Valium bottles still just say regular old, like they did 18 years ago. Nothing out of the norm. Don't operate machinery. Don't drink alcohol. That's nothing else. That's all it says. And but even in a sheet of paper that they put in there or whatever, there's no possible way that they could fully disclose everything that this drug does and is doing. Because first of all, if they did, they couldn't prescribe it. If they were to list, like, how it can completely destroy every aspect of your life, physically, mentally, emotionally, and be 100% life altering. They can't put all that down. Yes, they can put, maybe habit forming, or shouldn't be taken for longer than such and such a length of time, but there's no way that there can be full disclosure as far as, what's given with, with on a bottle, or in a, in with your prescription, or what your pharmacist is going to say. And yes, should they be telling us, that what they do know and what's happening, and maybe and saying, I still prescribe this, but you might want to check into some more information about what seems to be happening to a lot of people out. Yeah, they should be doing all of that, but as far as the doctor even trying to disclose, everything about this medication, because you really, and people keep saying you really can't begin to fathom it unless you've experienced it. And I do agree with that 100%. Yeah, I don't agree with the part is, well, people aren't reaching out, or people, with people making excuses because, well, they don't understand because they're not living it, because, like I've said before, if you're just telling people that, you're alone, you're hungry, you're suffering horrifically, in so many ways, and they shouldn't have to, no more than that. I've said that before. I'll say it again, so that, I don't buy into that, but I do agree 100% with there's no possible way to explain it to someone, to really talk about every side effect. I say to my son that I'm living with now, I'm like, I don't wish this on you at all, but I just wish that you could feel what I'm feeling, like in this moment, or in the worst of a wave, or when I can't barely, when I'm crawling, or when I'm crying out to God, when I'm pleading, begging, just like you just want people to just maybe be able to feel it in its entirety, in the whole gamut of it, with everything that it does, everything it's capable of, that they could feel it for a day, with everything that that's capable of doing, so that, because we all know that if they did, they would go, oh, it would be like, they would be horrified, and they would be also, I think there would be a lot of, of guilt for, oh my gosh, how is my mom, or my family member, whatever, even been surviving this long, and I haven't taken it serious enough, or whatever. And I think there would be a major change in attitude. Of course there would. But the thing is, all of us, we all have compassion for cancer and other horrible illnesses that I have in my family. And we don't need to have it, to experience it, to be incredibly sympathetic and empathetic and compassionate, when it comes to those, those types of other illnesses. And certainly when people are going through this and something else like that, which is just, I can't even imagine that. But anyway, so I'm sure you guys would agree with that as far as full disclosure, so much needs to be changed as far as what's being told to people by doctors and pharmacists, and certainly pharmaceutical companies. I lashed out at Pfizer today on Twitter, because I actually said to the person that inspired the title of this video, and he had posted this desperate plea, and he's hashtagging a lot of these people like that, and they actually responded to him, well, here's a telephone number. Here's the telephone number where you can call and give a testimonial, I guess, or report your adverse reactions or adverse effects, or something like that they called it. It was just like, it was so shocking. I was like, really, that's whatever they called it. That's one way to put it. That's we could say that's what this is, and what's that gonna do for us? Where is that gonna get us by calling that 800 number? Because they already know. They already know what's going on. So I guess they're trying to do some appeasement or act like they're doing something. But it's just ridiculous. They're minimizing it. There's so much out there with these new articles that are coming out and about, well, yes, we do suggest that you taper, within 6 to 12 weeks, and all of us are going, excuse me? Really? Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, okay, sounds good. You try taking this drug for any length of time and tapering in 6 to 12 weeks. That seems to be your guidelines, but that's not our life. A lot of us are going on 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, especially if you count protracted withdrawal for so many people. So it's just, it's very, very, very disheartening and frustrating, but I stay on there because I want to continue to, to share, to spread awareness. Facebook, for those of you who follow me on there, you can see I kind of did a major kind of in your face post the other day, which got really no response, except I think for one friend who's going through this. But and it's basically sticking up for all of us as far as what we're not. We're not addicts. We're not. We're not. We're not addicts in denial. And we're not crazy. We're not this. We're that. And I actually had a voicemail, you guys, that I saved from someone who's been a longtime friend and someone that I think is a beautiful person. But we've never actually met in person. She's been my Facebook friend for a long time, and I even forget how we came in touch with each other. But she's a very spiritual person, and I was absolutely, totally taken back by what happened the other day. I think I had posted something that was kind of, I guess, kind of desperate, or who knows, when I kind of get in these moods and post things that I end up taking down. And she had replied, call me, I can help you. And well, of course, if someone, says that and they've been your friend, you're going to do that. And she had sent me a private Facebook message, and I responded and, gave her my phone number and everything. And she said, oh, call you tomorrow. Well, of course, that didn't happen. And we're used to being told something's going to happen, it doesn't. And, then within a couple days, I have this voicemail, and she had called me at about 12:30 at night. And I stay up late, but I put my phone in airplane mode after a certain time. So I keep my blue light filter on my phone on all day. I highly recommend that, you guys, especially if you're having sleep issues. It seems to have helped me, because I am on my phone quite a bit at night and stuff. Mainly with Twitter, and because that's when most people are kind of up and stuff. But not talking. But yeah, it was just, but at a certain point, I know I can't be on my phone, I can't be looking at the screen, and even though I have my blue light filter on, I need to, like, a couple hours at least before bedtime, I don't need to be, to be doing that. So, but I was like, well, first of all, why in the world would someone be so inconsiderate? I thought it was extremely inconsiderate to leave me a voicemail and to have called at 12:30 at night, not asking, first of all, if that would be okay. And then saying, I'll be up till 2 or 3 if you want to call me back. I was totally caught off guard by that. But what was worse was it was complete and utter negation. Now, this is someone who's been following me for a long time, so she knows what I'm going through. But it was complete negation of benzo withdrawal, because it was things like, basically about how I need to be delivered, and wanting to know if I'd ever been exposed to a psychic, ever had a psychic reading. Things like that, that certain people believe can, cause, demonic activity, or, evil forces, to have entered your life. And I was just, I was beyond shocked. I thought it was going to be someone, reaching out, in a Christian way, and maybe wanting to come see me and pray with me, or recommend some, or a life coach type, approach, or something like that. But just basically to be saying, you can see it in my face, or you can see this, you can see that, and it's all about, that it's all about, being delivered from this. And I mean, no, I've never had a psychic reading. I'm not into astrology. There's nothing wrong with that to me. As a Christian, I don't think if someone wants to, go, if it comforts them or something, and they to get a psychic reading, I personally, if I ever did that, and I haven't, I wouldn't, put much stock into it. But I don't know much about it, so I don't criticize it or judge it or anything like that. But to throw this, to just put this so blatantly as something like that, and so that further caused me to to kind of lash out and say that we and like at my former church, I was anointed with oil when I had started going there, and they put a cross on your forehead and they pray over you, and because they knew I was having suicidal ideation and stuff like that. And then you just get treated as time goes on, and you're not, and they don't see that you're better or you're healed, that that you just aren't, you've just lost your faith, and you're just not strong enough in God, and you don't have enough faith in God, and you can't possibly be believing enough, and all that kind of thing. And I'll go into church more later on a video pretty soon, because I have some things I want to talk about with that, but not right now. But this is just more into about the things that we have to continue to deal with, because it was so disheartening, and I didn't know whether to scream, cry, or throw. I think I felt like throwing something, and maybe I did. I don't know. Anyway, so anyway, yeah, we just, it's just. I guess each time you think that you're possibly not, that nothing else can kind of shock you or surprise you as far as people's attitude or what they're going to say. And I don't know, I just, it's just what are you going to do? I mean, so I didn't call her back. I didn't respond. I started to send a private message and really letting her know that how I felt so disrespected, and instead I kind of, put it all out there as a post, and and that was just a part of it. And it was actually prompted by, my post was actually prompted by somebody's comment on here. Let's see, CH, it might have been one of yours, that I actually, and since these are public comments, I figure you guys, don't mind if I, if I cop or screenshot them and post them. If any of you don't want that done, please let me know. But, so, because obviously this can be seen, and your comments can be seen by people all over the world, so it's not like it's private. If you were to send me anything private, that stays, with us. But because I just wanted people to know that I can't stop fighting for us. I can't stop talking about it, and I wanted to show, look, this is someone else talking about the horror, of what's going on, and everybody wants to just dismiss it like it's going to go away and it's not going to happen to them, and or nobody in their family it will happen to. And and that's really what prompted like the post. And I was having a terrible wave of a day anyway, and it was just so. And things, to be honest with you guys, things have been worse since my last video as far as my situation here. I'm alone almost constantly, so still, but my refrigerator is at least out of the laundry room and in the room with my microwave. So I still don't have a sink, but I have someone that I'm so grateful for. She's been amazing to me. And we've known each other since our kids were little. And she's kind of really the only one who's kind of been there for me as of late. And she's going to help me get a utility sink put in the laundry room so then I can actually have a place to wash dishes other than the bathroom sink, which is right here, which is not working out. So, and all of that goes back to the whole disclosure, because they can't disclose how this is going to just completely alter your life in ways that you could never have imagined. And I'm grateful to have this space, but there's so much panic and anxiety, and there's so much going on, and our brains are just swirling, and I'm, so I'm, I have a little electric skillet in there, and my blender for my shake, and I was having to go to the refrigerator, and in the laundry room, and back and forth, and I was absolutely going insane, and I told my son, I'm going to have to order a small refrigerator to put in there, and I did that, and then my daughter-in-law's father had said, well, actually, if we take the doors off of this refrigerator, this bigger one, we can actually get it in there. And I'm grateful to him that he helped my son, and they got the refrigerator in there. And there's carpet in there, though, so I had to buy one of those $35 office mat things to set it on. But that helped a lot. But there's still, there's no sink there, and there's really basically no counter space or anything like that, and no storage, no pantry, no shit, it's just, but I'm, hey, I'm making the best of it, and, and when I can go to the laundry room to wash out my Ninja blender, because right now I'm still having to go upstairs to do it, and I'm trying to go upstairs as little as possible, and I only make my protein shake I make enough for 3 days, so. But anyway, I'm getting emotional right now because it's ever since my last taper, you guys, and I know you guys understand, but I think it's a combination of the stress of the situation, but I was definitely doing better at my apartment overall. But I had not tapered in like 6 weeks at my apartment, but I only tapered by 5%. About 2.5 weeks ago. And, someone asked me on Twitter, actually, did you taper that 5% all at once? And I said, yeah, well, I did. That's how I've, been doing it. And they said, they taper theirs, gradually. And, but I didn't. And I tell you what, this last 2.5 weeks, I've been kind of in this pattern of like horrific wave one day, and then okay enough the next, and then horrific wave the next day, and okay enough. And it's just this last taper has hit me really, really hard. And in hindsight, it probably was not wise to taper right after I moved in here. But I thought things were going to be a little different, for one thing, but there was so much stress and trying to adjust to not having a kitchen and to a total different, lifestyle, and never having to live this way before. And, so that probably wasn't wise, but I had not tapered in 6 weeks, and I was just like, I have to, because, it's already going to be into next year, and, we're trying not to think about, how long this is going to take, because my gosh, it's like, I think like July of this year will be 2 years that I found out that it was Klonopin, that had been making me so sick, and how that I had to get off of it. And you think it's been so long already, and you think, it's going to be another year before I'm even off of it. And I know people that are down to 3 milligrams, 2 milligrams, and they're just still having just a horrible, horrible time. And I can see in myself how the lower I get, the more difficult it's becoming. Because you guys, last summer, for those of you who weren't watching, whatever, I was on still about 3 times as much as I am now, and I'm down to 6.3, and I was at 40 milligrams of Valium after 17 years of what ended up being 2 to 3 milligrams of Klonopin plus Restoril, and which is a benzodiazepine, you guys. And yeah, and then was put on 40 milligrams of Valium. So yes, I know I've come a long way, but wow, what an absolute nightmare of a process that it continues to be. And last summer, if you go back and I made a video called Windows and Waves, if you find that one. And I look at myself in that video, and back then I was running. I'd actually worked back up to running 15 miles. I'm an avid runner, or was. Can't even run down the block now. I do try to fast-paced walk when I can get out and walk. Try to do 2 or 3 miles when I can. But anyway, yeah, so just a year ago, I was swimming. When I realized I really needed to stop running as much, at the time, the subdivision that my son was living in had an Olympic-sized saltwater pool, which was amazing. So I was swimming a lot. If you look at that picture of me, I look at it and I go, wow, I look pretty good in that video. I actually looked pretty fit. My arms were my body was getting back in shape because, somebody mentioned how, our muscle tone, our muscle mass goes, our muscle tone goes. And I look at the difference now, got these arms hidden right now. I look at the difference now and I go, my gosh, I look at my arms in that video, go, look what just a year goes, in my apartment, I tried to make sure I did my kitchen counter. I did a lot of kitchen counter push-ups and stuff like that. But I don't even have any place to do that here. So, I need to find my bands or something, because I'm looking at this and I'm just, and should we worry about it? Well, some of us do, and I'm just like that. I'm just like, I see myself, because I see like this deterioration, and of course a certain amount of it is age when you're at my age, and but I look at myself just a year ago. I look at a picture I posted from my son when he turned 20 that I put on Facebook, and because he just turned 26, my youngest, and I looked at that picture, and it's an adorable picture. I put it on Facebook for his birthday with a bunch of other photos, and I look at that picture and I go, I look 15 years younger in that picture. I don't look like the same person. And it was just such a precious picture, and just such a beautiful picture. And but it was before, I was having unexplained issues, but I was still, working out and running and living a fairly, normal life. It was shortly before I started getting really, really sick with my story, the video where I told you my whole story. So it was about maybe a year before that. But so yeah, this does I tell you what, and for someone like me, or those of you who are used to being very physically active and outdoors people, and going to the gym and running and swimming, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, now I walk through the parking lot at Walmart and I feel like I'm going to pass out. I walk from one end of Super Walmart and it's like I'm in a total like one of those cartoons, where it's like, where you're just spinning. So aggravating, so frustrating, because we all want our lives back, and And, you know, Dr. Christy Huff told me the other day, she's like, I'm determined to, to beat this and survive this. And, when you got a doctor saying that and having that kind of much struggle, I mean, what does that tell you guys, But, and we all do, we all want to, but then we all struggle with those days where, especially if you've been doing it for a while, and you go, how am I possibly going to do this for another year? And you see that you're starting to feel worse and worse. And you go, wow, just with this last taper, what a difference. So what's the next taper going to be like? But then I saw where this other lady that I'm becoming friends with, and and she might be watching this at some point, but on Twitter, and she's been going through this, I think 3 or 4 years now, with Xanax, and she's only got like 0.125 or something like that to go, but she holds for about 4 months at a time, because Xanax is the strongest of the benzos, and if you didn't cross over to Valium, it can be, yeah, and depending on how much you were on, but anyway, so, but I was so excited for her because she had I guess she had tapered, I think yesterday or today or so, but some people have to hold for a long time, and that's, the thought of that is just, it's just almost too much, because that the only way to complete freedom is to be completely free of benzodiazepine. There's no other way to be healed. So, when we realize, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to hold, that's so dang depressing, and it just adds to this is never going to end. But it's not like that for everybody, guys. And for those of you who are just starting, I don't want to scare you, because that's not everybody's story. You have to remember, I was on Klonopin, which is, which some consider to be the worst. I was on Klonopin for about 17 years before, and at pretty high doses the last few years. So, it's not going to be as bad for everybody. I don't want to scare anybody from tapering, from coming off, because it staying on is never going to, things are never going to get better staying on, because you cannot go unscathed on this medication, because it is scientific fact what it does to our brains. That is just scientific, biological, and medical fact what they do to the brain. So you cannot think that you can stay on it, or even take it, get off and then take it as needed, and then not create a cycle and go unscathed. That just doesn't happen. But it doesn't mean that you're going to have as difficult a time as some of us. There's a lot of factors that play into that. So please remember that. But please also remember that there's a lot of us out there that have gone through just absolute horror, and continue, and are continuing to survive it. And guys, over this last 2.5 weeks, I've had days where I did not, or I cried out to God again, just let's just be done with this. Let's just be done with it. And let's move on. Let me come home. Because that is my faith, and that's what I believe. I'd be going home. But that's not what he's telling me right now. Anyway, so I know I'm approaching 35 minutes, and I'm going to work on finishing that country song for you guys. I'll write like a whole song. And, I was going to tell you, because it's, we had to have an AC guy. I was actually so hot down here and didn't know why. And had to call an AC guy out, and, $80 just for them to go up and say, well, there was a damper. Just basically, it's just a swift, turning a damper on or off. That the people who had lived here before had the damper in the position where it completely cut off any air to the downstairs. And we didn't notice it when I moved in because we had an unusually cold April, like a lot of people did. So I was roasting, and I finally had to tell my son, you're going to have to call someone, and then that's all it was. And now it's totally opposite, and there's only one thermostat control, which is up there, and they keep the air really low, and then I'm like, now it's like, okay, I guess now I'm cold. But anyway, so yeah. If you didn't see the song, or if you saw the song first, I hope you enjoyed it for what it is there. I hope you get some meaning out of it. I hope you'll listen to the original version of the song. And I don't want to go. I promised myself I would not go to 40 minutes. And but since I haven't been with you guys for a while, I kind of expected I'd go a little longer. I appreciate everybody so much. I still have so much going on, as we all do, and it's completely, unbelievably overwhelming, and I feel like I'm really coming out of my skin right now. I don't feel at all like I did when I was singing that little country song. I don't know what kind of came over me that one day. That was one of the probably the better moments or evenings that I've had since I've been here. But anyway, so with all that rambling said, I hope everybody is doing as well as you possibly can. I have so many things I want to talk about. Maybe you guys can give me some feedback, as I would probably video more often. I've been pretty sick and had so much going on, but sometimes I feel like, I don't know, it's overkill, or I don't feel like, people really want to see you all the time, or because I have a lot of things I'd like to talk about, but I want to make sure I don't put out like, a 30-minute video every day, because that's pretty presumptuous to think that people are gonna, would want to see you for that amount of time. But I'm willing to do more. Maybe I might start doing some more shorter ones. Just because there is so much things you go, oh, I wish I'd said that, or I wish I'd said that, or I'd really like to talk about this, and maybe kind of keep them more shorter, but kind of on one particular topic, like a lot of people do. I kind of fill you guys in, every couple weeks with a lot of stuff. But anyway, to everybody who's new and all your wonderful comments, I'm so grateful, and you guys know I try to get to them whenever I can. Like I said, I do other social media I try to keep up with, because I'm really trying to be very active in this cause, and so I understand why people don't do social media, but because I really am so passionate about spreading awareness about benzodiazepines, and you will never ever hear me advocate its use. I will go ahead and tell you now. And if you want to unsubscribe, or you don't want to follow me, I get it. But you will never ever hear me advocate this drug for any reason. And it not for as needed, not for. I just can't, you guys. I can't. It's just my heart, soul, my mind, everything that I know, and everybody that I experience. Because I communicate with so many of you guys, but then because I am very involved in Facebook and Twitter and the other aspects of this, and following it all over the world, there's just no possible way. But even with my own experience alone, I could not ever bring myself to ever say a single positive thing about this drug. But with that said, you guys know I would never ever be disrespectful in any way to anybody who's still on it, to anybody who's not yet feel they can taper, anybody who's had to go back on it again, that didn't make it through the first time. Goodness gracious, I get that. So there's never any judgment. I just have to be really frank with you guys that will never happen with me. You're never going to hear me advocate actually any of these medications, whether it's antipsychotic, antidepressant medications, because you guys know that I have a huge experience. If you watch my story, with almost all of them. So with that said, and now since I did go to 40, before you guys really get frustrated seeing that Shelly made a Benzo Butterfly made a 40-minute video, I think I'm going to go ahead and drop my name off of my channel now. I'll just say that as I close, because I kept it on there because that was my name for quite a while and how people were finding me. But then when I came up with the name Benzo Butterfly, and that's why I left my name on there too, in case people were trying to find me either way, and so many people associated with my actual name. But I think by now the channel is what it has grown enough to where I can drop that. And anyway, if you see that, that's why I don't think it's really necessary anymore. And so it won't be so long to see that. Okay, I'm stopping now. I promise, I'm really stopping, because I need to eat. Well, I need to drink. I need to go drink dinner again. And you guys know what that means. Yes, I'm going to go have a protein shake. That's, actually, last Friday night, my dear friend that I just mentioned to you, she's very private, so I won't mention names or anything, but she doesn't live close by anymore. I mean, she's a good 45 minutes, hour away now, and but she knew what condition I was in last Friday, and she knew I was basically still having protein shakes every day, and she was worried about my eating, and she had seen me not too long ago and about my weight loss and stuff, but I'm actually at my normal weight, but I don't need to lose any more weight. She was concerned, so. But she actually sent somebody here, someone that I is a sweetheart of a person, and someone I've met before but don't know that well, and she actually sent someone over to bring me dinner. And she just went to a local restaurant here and picked me up something, and sat with me for about an hour. You know what? And that was that's something that nobody did for me ever once in my apartment. She didn't know a lot of what was going on with me. We kind of fell apart, or fell away, out of touch with each other for a while, but yeah. So anyway, yeah. So that was the first time. It was actually the first hot meal, and well, pretty much only one since I've been here, and the first time someone had done that for me. Nobody from my church, well, the church I was going to, ever did. But like I said, we'll talk about that more another time, because I need to go, because I keep talking, and you guys know me. Before, I'll be having to write the I went to 60-minute country song. So okay, I love you guys, and God bless, and hang in there, stay strong, all that stuff. I know it's hell, it's hell, but we're gonna continue to do this together. Okay, all right, take care. God bless.